Okay, right. Hello everyone, welcome to Lay It Out, the No Bullshit Science podcast.
With extra bullshit.
I'm Curie.
And I'm Alice.
And she's Demelza.
Woo! Demelza's muted at the moment. Demelza's are to be seen and not heard. Ha ha ha.
Okay.
Fuck you, why didn't you laugh?
That was not funny.
Fine.
How's
I'm a very funny person at the moment. There's no human interaction.
I know. How's your lockdown going?
It's actually not too bad. I feel like week 3 has been the kind of like get in the swing of lockdown, but also get like kind of bored and cabin fevery at the same time. Like I think I've got it down with the routine and the working, but the rest of my life is a shambles.
Yeah, I feel you. I think week 2 was hard. Week 3, let's see. We've only just started week 3, so it's too early to tell. But my productivity is still at like a solid 0.
Yeah, today was bad, but I tried not to be too hard on myself. I was like, no, this happens. And also Tuesday is my least favorite day of the week. And I've been finding that that's particularly true in lockdown. I feel like Monday and Tuesday last an entire week. And then when you get to Wednesday, all of a sudden it's Friday.
Yeah, it's true.
That's how I've been feeling.
Has anyone seen this, the open letter that Tommy Lee wrote to Trump?
No.
Okay, I really want to read it. Okay.
Who's Tommy Lee? Like Tommy Lee Jones?
No. The one from the one that went out with Pamela Anderson. Oh, from Motley Crue.
Okay. And is it like giving Trump shit or telling him he's great?
I just want to read it because I think this is so good. And it really cheered me up. I think when I saw it yesterday and I was in like deep lockdown depression, and then it just cheered me up. So this was a real open letter written by Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. It says, an open letter to the president from the drummer of Motley Crue, Tommy Lee. Dear fucking lunatic, at your recent press conference, a word salad that had a stroke and fell downstairs. You were clearly so out of your depth you needed scuba gear. Within minutes of your depth you needed... Oh, no, hang on. I can't read. Within minutes of going off air, your minions were backpedaling faster than Cirque du Soleil acrobats. In India a week ago, I couldn't get past the bit about your being the most popular visitor in the history of fucking India. A country of 1 billion human souls that's only 3,000 years old, give or take. Trust me, Gandhi pulled crowds. You pulled a cricket stadium and half walked out. Do you know how fucking insane you sound, you off-brand butt plug? That's like the geopolitical equivalent of, that stripper really likes me. Only 10,000 times crazier and less self-aware, you are fucking exhausting. Every day is a natural experiment in determining how long 300 million people can resist coring out their own arseholes with an ice auger. Every time I hear a snippet of your Queen's tinged banshee larynx farts, I want to scream. We are fucking tired. As bad as we all thought your presidency would be when Putin got you elected, it's been inestimably worse. You called the hostile nuclear-armed head of state short and fat. How the fuck does that help? You accused a woman, a former friend no less, of showing up at your resort bleeding from the face and begging to get in. You, the guy who looks like a Christmas haggis inexplicably brought to life by Frosty's magic hat. Yes, you of all people said that. You attempted with evident fucking glee to get 24 million people thrown off their health insurance. You gave billions away to corporations and the already wealthy while simultaneously telling struggling poor people that you were doing exactly the opposite. You endorsed the paedophile, praised brutal dictators, and defended literal fucking Nazis. 99% of everything you say is either false, crazy, incoherent, just plain cruel, or a rancid paella of all 4. Oh, by the way, Puerto Rico is still FUBAR. You got yourself and your family billions in tax breaks for Christmas. What do they get? More paper towels? Enough. For the love of God and all that is holy, good and pure, would you please, finally and forever, shut your feculent KFC hole until you have something valuable or even marginally civil to say? You are a fried dick sandwich with a side of schlongs. If chlamydia and gonorrhea had a son, you'd appoint him HHS secretary. You're a disgraceful, pustulant, hot stew full of casuistry, god-awful ideas, unintelligible non-sequiturs, and malignant rage. You're the perfect circus orangutan diaper from Plato's World of Forms, so fuck you, Mr. President, and fuck you forever. Oh, and Pence, you're a ladyless house ferret. Fuck you too. You'll be as useful as a chocolate teapot against a medical crisis, you Bible-thumping cocksocket.
Do you know what that reminded me of?
What?
You know, when you're in primary school and you have to read a passage out loud and you really give it your all. That's what that sounded like. And especially the parts where you were stumbling over the words you didn't know.
There's a couple of words in there I wish I'd looked up beforehand.
I feel like he made up some of those words, but I enjoyed them. They were good.
I don't know if I said them right, though, to be fair.
My favourite part was when he called Trump a Christmas haggis.
It's so good. It's really so good. And I really hope that brought some joy to someone who's listening to this whilst deep in their lockdown depression also today.
Well, I feel like it brought joy to you because you looked so happy when you were reading it out. It's the happiest I've seen you look since lockdown began.
It's so good. It's so good.
It is very worthy of some sort of fiction prize. Anyway, shall we go on?
Okay, fine. Okay, so we are doing another infamous science guest today. A guest who has actually been mentioned in a lot of episodes.
Yay!
No, not yet. You haven't been introduced yet.
I was about to say, I was about to do a drum roll, but I was looking for things to do the drum roll with.
You could just use your hands. Lucy! Lucy's joining us all the way from Aberdeen, which is literally pretty much as far north of the UK as you can get.
It could get more north.
It's very cold. I went there and I nearly died.
Almost didn't make it back alive.
Honestly, it was one of the coldest nights I've ever spent in my life.
It wasn't that bad. What is that noise?
What is that?
Yeah, I thought that was me, but I don't think it is.
Anyway.
Weird.
So Lucy, how are you?
I'm surviving. How are you?
That was bleak.
I haven't had like in real life interaction with another human being more than a minute in over 4 weeks. So.
Oh god.
Do you live on your own?
Yeah.
Oh god.
No.
How's that going? Do you even have any insects in your house or anything? We've got a lot of flies at the moment.
I think I have a spider in here somewhere, but that's about
Okay,
it.
that's good. That's good. You're not totally alone.
I have a gin. I don't know if anyone else
Excellent.
is drinking. Yeah.
You know what? I think I'm drinking more during this lockdown than I was pre-lockdown.
Oh yeah, definitely. Jamel's is nodding as well. We're all in agreement.
So I never have like a casual drink with dinner or before bed. I've been having nightcaps.
A casual drink before bed.
Yeah.
What have your nightcaps been?
Oh, mostly Baileys.
Oh, nice.
Or like a fruity cider.
Okay, that's too sugary for a nightcap, Curie.
Yeah.
Is Baileys a good nightcap?
I think so because it's creamy, but it's also very sugary. But you know.
Well, fuck you, Alice. These are the joys that are giving me during this lockdown. Let me have it.
Okay, rude, but all right. Baileys. What I think about Baileys is it's kind of like an adult milk before bed.
It is,
Isn't it? Yeah, that'd be the one that I would go for.
Yeah, I love a Baileys. Great. So Lucy and I went to uni together, and we've known each other for
Like almost 10 years.
almost 10 years. Also, we haven't just known each other for 10 years. We've had a never-ending conversation for 10 years.
I kind of prefer it sometimes to real life. Is that weird?
No, I get you. There's a lot less
emojis, you know?
You are?
Emojis.
That's true.
Yeah.
You make life better.
Yeah. So out of our 10-year friendship, Lucy and I have only actually spent 3 years living in the same place. Yet we've spoken to each other pretty much every single day. And we don't really ever say goodbye. So we've literally had a never-ending conversation for 10 years straight.
Do you know they say that if you're friends for 10 years, you'll never not be friends?
Well, we have a year to fuck it up, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah. We've never argued though.
No. We've like bickered.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we like snap at each other, but we've never had an argument.
Yeah.
So when you guys lived in the same place, where was that?
I was at Nottingham at uni.
Lovely.
Also one of the coldest places I've ever been in my life.
Nottingham was very cold. Weirdly cold.
How far north is Nottingham?
It's not that far.
Yeah.
Is it high up? Is it hilly?
No.
No.
I would say Nottingham is quite hilly, isn't it?
No. But I got
Are you comparing it to, is Aberdeen really hilly, like Edinburgh? Edinburgh's really hilly.
Well, I'm from Sheffield, so Sheffield's very hilly.
Okay.
Aberdeen is hilly. Although other people know something.
Lucy's Aberdeen flat's on a fucking mountain.
It's not on a mountain. Slight incline.
It's a mountain.
No.
So, has everybody been getting outside for their exercise?
Yeah. I've been running a lot.
Me too.
Demelza, your muscles are gonna atrophy. You need to move.
Hey, she's been doing Pilates.
Okay. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. That's good. What is the weather like at the moment in Aberdeen?
It's actually really nice today.
Oh, that's good.
I feel like Aberdeen's always opposite to London though. When you're
It
having shit weather, we have good.
Interesting. Because we actually had quite nice weather today.
No, it's nice.
I used to get really annoyed because the first 2 years that Lucy lived in Aberdeen, their winter was way milder than ours.
What?
I know, and I got really pissed off because like every single time she'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's not that bad here," and I'm like, "Well, I'm about to die because it's so fucking cold down here."
But then the year you visited was dreadful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's me.
It probably is.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Can you see the Northern Lights from Aberdeen?
I think you have to drive out.
Okay.
Not in the city, but you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. The city would be there's too much light pollution, yeah?
Yeah.
How have you not done that?
I don't know where to drive to.
Oh, okay.
And it's like certain months of the year as well. But yeah, I should do that.
What are Northern Lights?
Huh?
What are they?
They're the way the light goes through the ice cap.
Well, so it gets refracted.
I think so. Demelza, do you know anything more about this? I feel like this is something you'd know.
I feel like by Demelza's typing, she's already on it.
It's something to do with the ice in the North Pole and the light.
Okay. Oh, here we go. They are the result of disturbances in the magnetosphere caused by solar wind. Demelza, you just threw a lot of words out there and I don't know what any of them mean. Okay, right. So while we wait for more information about the Northern Lights, should we actually start the proper interview, the proper content of the podcast, which is based all around our special guest?
Normally you just say, will we talk some science? Why did you use so many words there?
I'm just experimenting. Alice, we're in lockdown. I don't get to talk to many people, okay?
You have 2 parents.
Yeah, I don't talk to them a lot.
You have loads of people. I have no people.
Yeah. Stop being so selfish, Curie. Think about Lucy. All she has is a spider.
That I can't find.
I think the spider hides from her.
Okay, I'm sorry. I take it back. Right, should we talk about some science then?
Yes. Sounds great.
Okay, so Lucy, why don't you tell us about so you're right now you're doing your PhD.
Yeah.
Which you're nearly finished.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got there? Like, what were you like at school? Did you like science at school? And, then how it led you to be doing a PhD?
Okay. So, yeah. I'll keep it short. So I'm Asian and I have Asian parents. I feel like that's like really important information. I don't think I ever liked science. I was good at like most subjects at school, but yeah, I know. Well, basic Asian. But yeah, everyone at school told me that science was the way to go for money, and obviously Asian parents like money, and so I was like, okay, science.
Money.
Yeah, no, but
you want money.
I got the way to for pharmacy at Nottingham. And I did shadowing with a pharmacist and I fucking hated it. It was 2 weeks, I hated it. But I still applied because like, why not? Because I honestly had no idea what I was going to do. So I went for that, got a place. So I was given an offer. I think it was like ABB. I didn't get it. So they offered me healthcare science, which is where I met Curie. I don't know if you've spoken about this before. Shittest course ever. Yeah. It was like not my thing. I hated it. And then I did that, hated it. Got 2-1. I was like, okay, what do I want to do next? Wasn't ready to leave education. So I was like, human nutrition, that sounds fun. So I did that in Sheffield at home. I did a master's in human nutrition, which I did enjoy. So that was like refreshing to finally find something that I enjoyed. But for me, I didn't see myself doing labs or clinical work as a career. But I really enjoyed public health, like actually community nutrition, I guess, and seeing how I can help people in real life. So I saw a PhD in Aberdeen, applied for it, got it, didn't think much about Aberdeen. I actually Googled, like, what's it like living in Aberdeen? I read 2 reviews, which was raving. I was like, oh, this is cool. Moved here. Fucking hate it, by the way. Am I allowed to swear, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, I fucking hate it. It's no, like, everyone knows this, but 4 years later, I do appreciate this experience because I'm from quite a busy city, whereas Aberdeen's very slow. So I feel like I appreciate the slower life, and things like being in nature and all that shit, which you don't get in a busy city, really. So yeah, was this about science or my life? I'm sorry. At this point, you need to give me time to prepare because I'm so bad at rambling.
No, this is good. We like the rambles.
Yeah.
But my PhD is basically, in a nutshell, looking at how people with busy lifestyles are able to attain and maintain a healthy diet. So looking at how time pressure influences what we eat. Mm-hmm. It's a mix of public health, nutrition, and social science. So yeah.
I must say, when I visited Aberdeen, it is one of the weirdest places I've ever been. It's like all the buildings are made of granite. Is it granite?
Granite City, yeah.
Yeah. All the buildings are made of granite, so everything's really, really grey. And after a while, when you're walking around Aberdeen, I started to genuinely feel like I was going colourblind. And my vision started to feel weird. Like, it's just a weird feeling because I'm like, I haven't seen a bright colour in like the whole 3 days that I've been here.
That is so dramatic.
It's not though.
No, but that's legit what it feels like.
Yeah. Have you been to Edinburgh or Glasgow? Are they similar?
I'd say Edinburgh's known for being, I think, sandstone. So it's a little bit more yellow.
Okay.
So Aberdeen is worse. It's definitely very grey. And also the weather is grey. So it kind of merges for the building. So the review that I read said that you can see, when the sun shines, you can see the buildings glistening. Like, I've never seen a fucking building glisten. Bullshit.
You're like 4 years later, still waiting for a building to glisten.
Exactly.
Okay, ding ding ding, silent demands a fact. So going back to the northern lights, they're caused by collisions between electrically charged particles released from the sun that enter the Earth's atmosphere and then collide with gases such as oxygen and nitrogen.
So nothing to do with the ice. I'll just go.
You said it with such conviction as well.
You know what?
Yes, the ice.
This is like a prime example of why we need Demelza whenever we record.
It is. Exactly.
She also said that Aberdeen literally sounds like Cornwall. In my head, Cornwall's super green.
Cornwall was really sunny when I went. It's weird.
In the winter, maybe it's the same.
Maybe it's different for people that grew up there.
What's the summer like in Aberdeen?
So we have really long days in summer, actually.
Oh my god, yeah, obviously because you're so far north. But I even noticed that when I went to Glasgow, which isn't as far north as Aberdeen, is it? It's much further.
Yeah, like 2 hours down.
Yeah, it was bright there till like 10 p.m. So I can imagine you guys get like crazy long.
It's nice. Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah.
All right, should we get back to the science?
Yeah.
So Lucy, tell us about your PhD. So you're looking at how busy people can have a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. So it's kind of moving away from like, I guess what you called wet science.
Mm-hmm.
It's more towards social science. So it's public health, nutrition, and sociology, looking at how perceived time pressure or busyness influences our daily routines and then therefore what effect that has on your quality of diet. So I look at like big data using something called the National Diet and Nutrition Survey in the UK. So I've analysed data from that. I've done my own surveys, done interviews with people. So it's quite a mixed methods PhD. I don't know if it's really science anymore.
That is science. It's definitely science. What would it be if it wasn't science?
I don't know. It's public health.
You still have statistics.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about sort of what you found or how you would go about doing something like that? Because actually the sort of work that you do is super different from anything we've really talked about on the podcast before, because we've never talked about sort of public health, more epidemiology level stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's a lot like behavioral work, so it focuses on individuals and then how that affects the whole population. So how I would go about doing it is, I've lost my train of thought. What was the question?
What you do, how have you found it, and what have you found?
Okay. Yeah, so the thing that I found, for me, it's difficult because I'm so like, I do this every single day. So what I think is obvious might not be obvious to everyone else. So when I first started this PhD, I think it was, to me, very obvious that time was an issue and convenience was an issue. And when I speak to other people, they feel the same. Like, yes, time is a problem. We don't have enough of it, and it makes us eat convenience food. But if you actually look at the data, so this is the thing with sociology and like public health, everything in hindsight is so obvious. But then when you actually look at it, so looking at, like, for example, hours, how your working hours influences your diet quality. People might assume if you work more hours, you have less time and therefore you have a poorer diet. But I found no association. And also with interviews, you see a lot of people complain about having time pressures. But then when they actually reflect on their diet, they're like, well, actually, I do a lot of things that kind of like coping strategies that help me anyway. So I think time is something that is very easily used as an excuse, similar to like healthy food is expensive, but really you don't have to spend a lot of money to eat healthily. I think it's just the mindset that we're in. I think like socioeconomics, like money, it does play into it. Like the larger factors like your food environment that ultimately influences what you can do. But I think, I don't know. I don't really know. I haven't finished yet, but
It's right. So like the whole thing about the money thing, it's not as expensive as people think it is to eat healthy, right? But also I can pop to the chicken shop down the road and get like 10 pieces of chicken, chips, beans, and like 10 hot wings for like 10 quid.
Yeah.
And that's if you say if you're a family, that's enough food for maybe 2 meals.
I think it is like a prioritization thing. But like, for example, people from a higher social class, for example, might feel more social pressures to not go to the chicken shop. So is it a class issue? I don't know. That's where the social science shit comes
Wow, Lucy, are you saying that people that go to chicken shops are all peasants?
Maybe. They're like you.
You know, I still haven't had what's that chicken shop that you really like?
KFC.
No, obviously I've had a KFC. Like a London one.
Oh, Morley's.
Yeah, that one.
I wouldn't say I like Morley's. It's just it's a classic London institution.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a sober Morley's. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, fair.
So have you not been to any like cheap chicken shop?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Even though my sister lives above one. It's called PFC and it stands for Perfect Fried Chicken.
Oh my god, Alice, as soon as lockdown's over and we go on a night out, that needs to change.
Yeah, we'll go get some shit chicken. We just have like, it's weird. We don't have chicken shops. We mainly have like fish and chip shops, but they'll sell chicken at home. But we don't have actual chicken shops. Like you'll get like a box, like you call it like a junior box or like a 3-piece box or something like that. And it has chicken, but you get it from the chipper.
My mum sells chips.
I do find there is a lot of Chinese takeaways around here that sell fish and chips as well, to be fair.
Yeah, that's the same at home. The Chinese takeaways at home do everything. They started Chinese takeaways and then they had to diversify.
Yeah. Okay, so back to your work, Lucy. So what have you found? So you saying that time isn't as big of an issue as people think?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
Just to clarify something. So was the main two factors you were looking at time and convenience? Or were you looking at loads and they were just the two that you found the most interesting?
So basically looking at different forms of time. So
Yeah.
you could classify it as like how many hours you work. So I'm only looking at people in employment. So how many hours they work, but also things like the perceived time pressure. So you use like a scale, like a Likert scale, for example. And then the outcome variables would be things like cooking from scratch, the frequency of that, or the actual dietary intake, and also things like convenience, like ready meals, takeaways, eating out. Yeah.
Cool. And did you look at all at like shift working and things like that, like when they were working?
Yeah. So we control for that, but there's actually a lot of research already done on shift work and how they are shift workers.
Yeah.
And how they snack more, or they don't. I don't think they actually eat more calories than normal workers, but it's just the time of day that they're eating, and also the snacking, so the types of food that they're eating, that leads to weight gain and also less exercise. But no, I don't focus on like shift patterns.
Cool. Sorry if I jumped ahead there or if that was going to come up later. Anyway, continue.
So my question was going to be, so you said that so people think time is usually an issue, but actually you found that it's not associated with your quality of diet or anything. So what have you found that is associated with either a better or worse quality of diet?
Good question, Curie.
Thanks, Lucy.
So gender, which you might expect, women tend to be more conscious about their diet, but depending on what you measure, so fruit and vegetables, a lot of times they do consume more than men, but then things like fiber or whole grains, they don't score as well. So gender, I think, is a big one. It influences how we eat and what we care about. Also, living with children for me was a big one. So parents do feel or perceive more time pressures just because especially if they're working. So they've got employment constraints and also childcare. So that influences what they're doing. But even though they have more time pressures, because they have a child and they tend to care a bit more about what they put into their bodies, I think that then, I don't know if it counteracts, but it definitely influences that. It's quite a complex like interaction, as with all human work. I don't think there's like A plus B equals blah blah blah. So
interesting.
So basically, fuck kids. No, don't fuck kids, but like, you know,
don't fuck kids.
Don't fuck kids.
So with your findings, was that mainly from NDNet? You said you did surveys and things as well. So was that found in each method that you used, or did it all kind of mainly come from one, like with the different ways of measuring diet? Would you say that there was anything to do with that?
So the NDNS, I looked at how ours worked and how that associated with the quality of diet. I found no association, but there were differences between people living and not living with children. So those who lived with children and working more hours had a higher fat, higher saturated fat and lower fiber intake than those who didn't live with children. So then I moved to interviews. So I interviewed people with children and without children. And I found, yes, people living with children did perceive more time pressures, but then they also, you know, they described their whole routines and it sounded like they had things under control. They had a very good routine, which then led me to maybe assume that having children counteracted some of the time pressures. But bearing in mind, with interviews, you can only interview so many people. And for me, it was much easier to recruit higher socioeconomic parents. So that could have influenced the findings. But typically, it is quite difficult to research lower socioeconomic class groups because they're just not that interested in for whatever reason. But then I moved on to surveys. Again, a huge response from people who were higher educated. I had a good range of income, but it was mostly like people with postgraduate degrees or degrees. I'm still analysing that, so I don't really have any results. But yeah. But with the interviews, I was looking at just, what people were reporting. So I didn't measure the diet quality, but they were just explaining to me what they eat, and it sounded healthier.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you know how so you did a lot of your data collection through interviews.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how, because when I think of data and people think of data and analysing data, it's numbers, right? In our heads, it's always, we have these numbers that we collected from these things. So how do you then generate data from an interview to then be able to do statistics with it and analyse it to give you like a solid result?
Yeah. So with the interviews, you're collecting qualitative data. Typically, we recruit enough until we get data saturation, which is basically where you're not really getting any more new information. It's typically around 15 people, but it's quite common. If you're asking questions about time pressure for a limited group of people, you get the same types of reports after a while. So it's either they do feel time pressure or they don't, and how that affects their foods. So with qualitative data, it doesn't aim to be representative. So you can't do statistical tests on that, because it's such a small number, but it is, it's not representative, but it does reflect the group of people that you are targeting. So for me, it was people with children and don't have children. So basically you interview them. For me, it was around 30 minutes to an hour. And then I would go over all of that text. I'll transcribe it verbatim and then look for themes within the text. So for example, if they say that work is the biggest time pressure or their children are, and then you pick out the main themes and use that to kind of shed light to the voices of people, basically. But it's never really, it's not statistically representative, but it is reflective. And I think it gives you ideas on how to produce a survey, what you would include in the survey from what you find in the interviews. Yeah.
That was very poetic. Shed light on the voice of the people.
Yeah, that's like qualitative.
I quite like reading qualitative reports sometimes, because when they have quotes, and it's like what respondent A said, blah blah blah, and sometimes they're kind of funny. All the reports written really scientifically and in the language we're supposed to use, and then it will be just this person who was interviewed being like, yeah, well, I fucking love chicken chops or something like that. It makes me laugh.
Alice?
Yeah?
What are your kebab shops like in Dublin or Ireland?
There's not that many of them.
Mm.
There's a few. I don't really go to them. I've never had a kebab.
Oh my god.
So we used to go on our dirty food after a night out. We'd go to this place called Charlie's, which was a Dublin institution. A few of them have closed down. I think they started, like I was saying, as Chinese food, but now they've kind of got a few other bits. And remember, I had to explain to you recently what a 3-in-1 was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's a 3-in-1?
So a 3-in-1 is. It is dirty, but not in the way you're thinking of. So anyway, it's just a tray, those tinfoil trays you get takeaway food in, with rice, chips, and curry sauce. That is the classic 3-in-1. You can get variations on a 3-in-1. Some people like them with different sauces. You could get it with satay sauce. You could get it with black bean, whatever you fancy. Then we have the 4-in-1, which includes either crispy chicken or chicken balls. And then on another level above that, you can ask for additionals such as fried onions, etc. And really, it's just a world of possibilities.
I feel like I need to try this.
Yeah, when lockdown's over, we'll make that trip to Dublin that we've been talking about for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
Especially just for the 3-in-1. We'll just go to Dublin. We'll all eat 3-in-1s, and then we'll go home.
No. Excuse you. I don't want a 3-in-1. I want a 4-in-1 with some extras.
Okay, of course. That doesn't surprise me.
Lucy, what is it that you have in Sheffield takeaways? It's like palm, chicken palm?
No, that's a Newcastle thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called a palmo, I think. It's basically melted cheese. A shit ton of melted cheese. I've never had it, but yeah.
What cheese? Is there bread underneath it or anything?
I think chips.
Okay.
What's the like a dirty takeaway thing that's exclusive to Sheffield?
Do you have chips and curry?
Yeah, but I think we have curry sauce, but I don't think it's as popular down here as it is more north parts of the country.
I don't think we have anything weird. Like a 3-in-1.
Isn't it funny how like I find lots of places it either circulates around chips or bread. So like, you know the way in Canada they have that thing that's like chips and gravy and cheese.
Poutine.
Yeah.
Poutine, yeah. So they've got that. Like we've got 3-in-1s. Don't know what really they have here. And then another dirty food that I went to, which was great, that I got when I was in Poland. Have you ever had a cking?
A zappy? No.
Yeah, it's like this big. I got one in Krakow, and the our hostel person told us we had to go and get them, and it's literally the highlight of my time in Krakow, which is kind of sad because I'm sure there's loads of other really nice things to do in Krakow. But this sandwich, oh my god, it's like this big, like massive piece of bread. And it's got this kind of, I think it's like a paste with like mushrooms and things on the bottom. And I don't like mushrooms, but I even like this. So it's paste. And then there's cheese. So that's the like standard is the mushroomy paste and the cheese and the bread. And then you get like loads of toppings on top of it. And they just toast the whole thing. And you eat it off like this big piece of cardboard. And it's massive.
Mm. Do you know what is great? I can't remember. Alice, you might remember. I think this might be in Thailand. Or it might be Thailand or Laos, but one of the two countries, their like dirty late night food is like egg and bacon and cheese baguette.
I don't think I had that in Thailand.
So like, it's one of the southeastern countries. I can't remember which. Maybe it's Vietnam, considering it's in a baguette. But like outside the nightclubs, they would have literally like the French baguettes that they use, and they would just fill it with really oily like fried eggs, cheese, bacon, and you can get it with ham, and then they'd put like ketchup all over it, and it was so good.
Like a breakfast banh mi.
Yeah, it was so good.
Have you heard of a thing called a McGang burger?
What's in it?
You make it yourself. You go to McDonald's, and then you get like a Big Mac, a chicken sandwich, and a fish fillet, and you like combine that.
I think I need to do that.
It's a pity McDonald's is closed.
No. I'm so sad. And do you know what was even sadder? I really resisted getting McDonald's before, like during the lockdown, because I was like, I can't support a big corporation like McDonald's. And then, yeah, because I learned from my mistake with McDonald's.
That's like that last day we were in uni and we were walking along and everywhere was closed and we were like, we're going to support a small business. And I was like, it's okay. If we can't find a small business, McDonald's is still open. And Curie was literally like, no, we can't go to McDonald's.
Yeah. I regretted it. And then, yeah, when KFC said they were shutting, I had to get it. So I ordered a bucket the night they announced that they were closing.
I did manage to get some final chicken nuggets from McDonald's. And I was delighted. This is a really dangerous conversation because I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm getting so hungry.
Sorry. Let's take it back to the science.
Okay.
So your whole thing is about like time and public health. How will what's like the next stages of a project like this? Because now you've got all this information on what influences people to eat certain things. Because I guess like what we would normally talk about, it makes sense because we'll be like, oh, well, this is looking for a cure to this disease, or this is looking for the beginnings of this medication. So like what's the point?
Yeah. I don't think time is something that you can control, really. Well, I mean, for me, I would be interested in moving towards something like the Time Use Research Centre. So there's a big UK-wide survey on time use. I mean, it's pretty much global. They're based in UCL now, but they collect actual real-time diary data. So they get participants to like fill in every 10 minutes what they're doing, and then from
Every
that,
10 minutes.
yeah,
That's intense.
yeah.
That's pretty disruptive of your like life.
Especially if you're busy, you're probably not going to fill it out.
No.
Yeah. But from that, you can see like over time, you can see how we change our behaviors and where most of our time goes to. I can't remember the top of my head, but I know that we now spend less time on food overall, like eating, shopping, cooking. And a lot of that time, so there's always been a big gender difference with women being like the housekeeper and homemaker, and men going to work. But over time, we've seen more women go into work, and so like housework has actually become more equal, even though women still do most of it, even if they're working full time. But yeah, more men do cleaning now. And parents as well, they spend a lot more time in childcare than ever before. But that's also linked to socioeconomic status. So I think status is a huge thing when it comes to time. I think that's probably a big problem when you're only having highly educated people researching highly educated people and how they spend their time. It becomes maybe a bigger thing than it probably is, and then it's further perpetuated by popular media that keeps telling us we don't have enough time because they're trying to sell us things like convenience food or services. So time has become this big thing, but actually, I mean, right now we have a shit ton of time, but we're still probably not eating healthy or cooking, or So I think it's just our interest in how we use our time and how we prioritize our time has changed. But in terms of what we do with that, again, I don't think you can do anything with time itself, but I think it sheds light on other things like gender issues. And do women still do more of the housework? In which case, what can we do to alleviate that?
That was a really great ramble. But what's the point? Like, what's the point of your research?
Yeah, I don't really know, Curie.
Who do you think it will benefit?
Probably parents.
Okay, Ryan, here's my question. Let me make it a bit easier. So I know, because I know you, that your work is being funded by the Scottish government, right?
Yeah.
So when the government gets this data, what will they do with it?
Yeah. This is really difficult when you ask someone who does like behavioral work. There's no outcome. I'm not measuring the difference between people who are obese and not, like, there's no clear. You can't measure it, basically. It's just behavioral work. So you get more information and insight into how people live, and whether or not you think that's valuable is like a philosophical. I mean, I think it is valuable to understand how people live, and how we could improve that. What the Scottish government got, probably fuck all, to be honest, at this point. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I applied for this PhD, it was actually about helping food banks. Because my first supervisor left, they kind of gave me free rein to do whatever I want. And I was interested in convenience, and obviously it makes sense to look at how time influences that. But in hindsight, like, it is a difficult thing to research, and also convince other people why that's important.
Yeah.
But if you actually read any social science papers, there's no like real end goal. It's kind of just continuing the conversation about something.
I think it's good though. Sorry.
Go. No, you go.
Sorry, mine's quick. I was just gonna say, like, I think without all this behavioral data though, we wouldn't know where to direct the sort of research that me and Alice do, for example, right? Like we wouldn't know where there are problems or holes or issues that need to be resolved within the population without the sort of research that you do, I think.
I think like going back to the convenience thing, I think it is pushed a lot that we should be cooking from scratch. But actually, if you look at it, a lot of people are cooking and time isn't a problem. So if we keep pushing, giving all this advice that, you know, this is what you can do to save time, it kind of assumes that we don't have enough time. I don't think that would be a problem.
Yeah.
How do we get away from that? And then it leads to this assumption that healthy eating takes a lot of time. When it probably doesn't.
Yeah. Alice, what was your question?
It was basically the same as what you just said.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, I think it informs a lot of like what you were saying. They'll inform designing surveys and things like that to do more quantitative work as well.
Yeah.
I think like with a lot of clinical work, I guess, or lab, I struggle to see the application to humans just because I do a lot with behavior. I think this will never work in the real world.
Yeah.
But I guess you need a multidisciplinary team to realize that.
Yeah.
I actually think that's like you've highlighted quite a huge issue within science in general. Like everyone's so within their own fields.
Yeah.
That I think things are starting to change now, but very, very slowly, where we do need like public health and molecular biology and clinical interventions to all work together. And like economists as well to be working with them, and like, you know, philosophers to be working with them as well, to actually have like this real world use of what we're doing, you know?
Yeah,
definitely.
I thought you were gonna like share some papers with me. I didn't realize it was just me.
You're a scientist, Lucy.
Okay. I was so excited to listen to some science.
Sorry. Next week we're going to be talking about why doing more poos makes you a happier person.
More poos?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do we have a guest for next week?
Not yet. We'll find one. But yeah, Alice, do you have any more final questions for our public health expert?
No, I don't think so. I thought that was really interesting. I'll definitely read your whole thesis.
What?
When are you, how far, or actually I know this is a horrible question, but when are you due to finish?
September this year.
That's when I'm supposed to finish too.
Oh, you know what I was thinking though? You know that like that time use research place you were talking about where they get people to tell them what they're doing every 10 minutes? Yeah. Can you imagine the sort of shit that they're getting now? Like,
yeah, it's probably messed everything up.
Yeah, if I had to say what I was doing now every 10 minutes, it would literally be like sitting on my phone, staring out the window,
peeing,
thinking about life. That's what it would be.
This is why I ask you what you're doing like every hour.
Honestly, like Lucy literally asks me once an hour, what am I doing? And normally I have things to say, but at the moment I literally have nothing to say except just sitting in my house. It'll be interesting though to see what they get from this.
Yeah.
To see if people actually used their time during a lockdown.
Have you guys been doing that? Wait.
Aliens.
It's freaking out. It's stopped now.
Yeah. What was your question, Lucy?
Like, what have you been doing with your time?
Fuck all.
Oh.
Like, honestly, you get all these people being like, oh, I'm going to achieve so much during this lockdown. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not achieving anything.
You're surely not achieving anything at all.
I read 3 books.
That's good.
That's a lie, actually. I'm on my 3rd book. So I've read 2 books.
That's really good.
In 3 weeks?
In 2 weeks.
Wow.
I was reading a book recently about running, and it was saying that in times of crises that humans take up running. Like there's usually a boost in running after like natural disasters, or like after they had one of their statistics was about how after the World Trade Centers were blown up, that there was an increase in like people in, I guess, in America running. And I, for one, Jesus, Strava is on fire. Holy crap. I've never gotten so much kudos in my life.
Same.
I used to be literally me and like 5 other people I knew on Strava. Now I've got like 27 friends.
Yeah, me too.
That's so interesting. Do you think it's because people realize how short life is, and then they're like, "Oh, we should run"?
Yeah, I think so. Like in the book I was reading, they're arguing about how like we evolved to run. So it's kind of, I guess, like going back to something we know that we're good at, or that like helps us survive, kind of. So I guess it's like a security thing, maybe. I don't know.
Do you know, for me, the reason I've been running a lot at the moment is like it's literally the only activity I'm doing right now that makes me feel like I'm gonna die. You know, like normally I get that feeling in the gym. Like I'm at the gym and I'm like, I'm exerting so much effort right now. I feel like I'm gonna die, but nothing's giving me that right now apart from running.
This is something though, like, okay, just a point. Is it worrying that you're conditioned to enjoy the feeling of being about to die? That's what I'm taking from this.
Maybe I need to go back to therapy.
I don't think that's a good thing.
All right, cool. Like we're running out of time, so we'll wrap that up. Thank you very much, Lucy. That was very, very interesting. Honestly, I think it's probably the most different sort of science we've had on the show so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's super interesting because it is just so far from what me and Alice do or know.
I can tell from what you're asking and like your facial expressions.
All right, Jesus. So yeah, thank you for that. Any closing statements you'd like to tell the world? Any messages? Doesn't necessarily need to be about your work. Anything at all. Last words.
Yeah. I'm bored in the house and in the house bored.
Fuck's sake, Lucy.
No, I don't have. Thank you for having me on. Finally.
Thank you for coming or sitting.
Yeah.
For being here.
Yeah, okay, so hopefully the sound quality on this one is a little bit better. I haven't had any connection issues and it seems to be a lot smoother than it was last time, but I guess we'll find out.
A few of my podcasts that I listen to have been talking about their recording struggles, and you know what they all do now? Bear in mind, I think they all have microphones, but they all record under duvets.
Ah.
So they sit under duvets with their like microphone and record.
But like, I'll literally suffocate and die if we do that.
I know, yeah, me too.
Why don't you get one of those fuzzy things that they have?
What fuzzy thing?
Like vloggers have a fuzzy thing for their microphones. Stops wind.
Oh, we've got one of those for Dick.
Oh. It doesn't
We
work.
don't have Dick at the moment. Poor Dick must be so lonely.
All right, cool. So thank you everyone for listening. If you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram on @LayItOutPodcast.
You can email us on layoutpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. Other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, don't be an idiot. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Lucy, say bye.
Bye.